Audio 12.1. 1.
The best ad I've seen had a serious point, but it was actually really amusing. There were 3 guys sitting outside somewhere in Australia. There was a house behind them and the light was on. One of them asked another one to go and turn the light off because it was Earth Hour. You know, every year it's 1 hour when everyone around the world is supposed to turn off their lights to save energy and make people think about using less electricity. Anyway, the man couldn't be bothered to turn the light off. He said it was just 1 light and it wouldn't make any difference. Then, suddenly, he saw a huge cloud of moths coming towards them. Maybe every moth in Australia was heading for their light because all the others had been switched off. I really think that the most effective adverts are those that make people laugh.
2.
I saw an amazing ad to raise our awareness of the problems homeless people have. It said that the weather was one of the biggest problems homeless people have, and that during the previous winter many of them had died. However, because they were homeless, no one really noticed them. So, in Germany, Switzerland, Russia, and a few other countries, they asked homeless people to present the weather forecast on TV. This helped people watching to see them as real people, just like them, and lots of them were offered help and jobs. They are now hoping more countries will do it next year.
3.
I really liked a public service ad called The Impossible Texting and Driving Test. It was really clever. It was made in Belgium, and the point was to persuade people not to send texts on their mobile phones while driving. Of course, no one likes being told not to do something. Well, I don't anyway. So they decided the best way to convince people that it's a stupid idea was to show what happens when you actually force people to text and drive. So the ad shows real people learning to drive at a driving school in Brussels. The instructor told them that a new law had been passed and that they now had to prove they could use a mobile phone while driving. Of course, no one could do it, and there were lots of silly little accidents.
Audio 12.2. 1.
The best ad I've seen had a serious point.
2.
Earth Hour is about saving energy.
3.
I saw an amazing ad.
4.
Lots of them were offered help.
5.
The instructor told them that a new law had been passed.
6.
There were lots of silly little accidents.
Audio 12.3.
So, Tanya, you've been reading our book of the week, How to Persuade and Influence People. Did you enjoy it?
Yes, actually. I thought it might be useful, but I didn't really expect to enjoy reading it. But it was really quite entertaining. There are a lot of personal stories by the author, and some of them are quite funny.
Can you give an example?
Well, the author probably tells the stories better, but there's one where a bird attacked the audience at a presentation.
Really?
Yes, the author had thought it would be a good idea to have a real owl in his presentation, but it escaped. Amazingly, he still got the job.
So, what did you actually learn from reading the book?
Well, there were some very useful tips for remembering people's names. He says that's important in getting people to trust you so that you can then influence them.
Oh, I'm not very good at remembering names. What were the tips?
To believe that you could do it, to listen carefully when the person first says their name, to use their name in the conversation, to look at their face and associate it with the name, and to write down their name and everything you can remember about them afterwards.
That sounds sensible. Have you got better at remembering names since you read the book?
Actually, I think I have. A bit at least. It probably takes practice.
And what does the book say about persuading people?
Well, there's a lot of information. You'll have to read it really, but probably the most important thing is to really listen to people and to ask questions to find out what's really important to them, what matters to them. When they see that you understand them, you'll be better able to influence or persuade them.
I guess that makes sense too. So, most important question, are you better at persuading people now?
I'm not sure. Ask me again in a few months.
I certainly will.
Audio 12.4. 1.
Well, the interesting thing is that soft power is now all about business. Countries no longer depend on force or politics to increase their influence abroad. I mean, when the distinguished American political scientist Joseph Nye used the word soft power, he was referring to foreign policy. But now soft power is used in business too. The idea is that to succeed in business, you need to influence people. So nothing new there, but the best way to do that is through communication and soft skills. You need to respond to your employees and show that you believe in them. Then they will work hard for you and make your business successful.
2.
One thing that's really changed in business is the way we persuade people through communication skills and not force. We're not afraid of being more open in the workplace anymore. Of course, we have women to thank for a lot of these changes. Women are starting more businesses than ever, so female influence is increasing. Poor leadership and communication lead to employees becoming dissatisfied with their boss and maybe even leaving. That's a disaster because we depend on our employees to make our business a success.
3.
The thing we are all concentrating on now is working together and finding work that we find satisfying. We want to work in a group and deal with problems effectively, not spend our time blaming other people for the problems or feeling jealous of other people's success. I think a lot of young people have stopped worrying about how they are going to get a promotion. They just want to be good at something and to feel they're working for a company that values them as a person.
Audio 12.5. 1.
We're not worried about showing our emotions in public.
2.
What we're talking about is a country's influence in business and culture.
3.
The idea is that to succeed in business, you need to influence people.
4.
We're becoming more interested in how other people see us.
5.
You need to respond to your employees and show that you believe in them.
6.
Joseph Nye was referring to foreign policy.
7.
Poor communication can lead to employees becoming dissatisfied.
8.
Managers need to listen to their staff.
9.
The thing we're all concentrating on now is working together.
10.
They just want to feel they're working for a company that values them as a person.
Audio 12.6. 1.
Oh, is that new? Very fancy.
Yes, well, I decided to treat myself. My old one wasn't working properly. It has a really good camera, 12 megapixels. That'll be really useful for my holiday.
I was just going to say that. You won't need to take your camera with you now.
And the internet is really good on it as well, so I don't think I'll need my computer as much as before.
I'm not sure about that. Don't you think the screen's a bit too small to read?
You might be right. Maybe I'll still use the computer for work. It really does look good though, doesn't it? Hey, maybe I can persuade you to get one as well.
2.
So how did you get home from the party last night?
In the end, I got a lift with Andre. Have you seen that thing he drives? It looks absolutely terrible, so old-fashioned.
Oh no, I totally disagree. I think it's really cool to go around in something like that. It's so different.
Yes, but I can't help thinking that different doesn't mean good-looking.
Well, I think some of the old styles look better than the modern ones. And anyway, we shouldn't be under pressure to buy new stuff.
I couldn't agree more. But this model never was stylish. It's just awful.
3.
Have you been to that new place in town yet? You know, at the top of the hill?
Yes, I went last week actually. What was your impression?
Well, the food is fantastic, but so expensive. And they encourage you to order so much. Don't you agree?
Yeah, that's just what I thought. I must say we enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy paying the bill. I think it's in a great spot though, looking out over the city.
Absolutely. It's a great view. It's even better if someone else is paying.
Audio 12.7.
Agree strongly. I was just going to say that. That's just what I thought. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. My thoughts exactly. That's a good point.
Agree weekly. I suppose so. You might be right, but...
Disagree strongly. I totally disagree. Rubbish.
Disagree weekly. I'm not sure about that. Yes, but I can't help thinking. I agree up to a point.
Audio 12.8. 1.
It really makes me want to try the product.
2.
I'll never forget that advert.
3.
I didn't really understand what it was trying to say.
4.
It was really funny.
5.
I've never seen anything so horrible. Yuck!
Six.
It is really imaginative and different.
Audio 12.9.
1.
Do you usually watch adverts on TV? Do you usually watch adverts on TV?
2.
What kinds of adverts do you notice? What kinds of adverts do you notice?
3.
Have you ever bought a product because of advertising? Have you ever bought a product because of advertising?
4.
What slogans can you remember? What slogans can you remember?
5.
Was advertising better when you were a child? Was advertising better when you were a child?
6.
What do you think about advertising to children? What do you think about advertising to children?